Hey guys, it's Luke here, doing another review for you today. This one's on a brand new helicopter I got a little while ago, and I've had some time to fly it and experiment with it, and I think you're going to be pretty excited about it. I know I am. So let's get into it. This is the Thunder Tiger E325 FBL, or Flybarless as they call it. This is a really nice helicopter. The idea behind it is it's a 3D. It's about a 400 size. It's a little smaller. In my opinion, it's pretty easy to control and good for people who are just starting to get into 3D or want a little faster helicopter, you know, something that you've already maybe worked on collective pitch in a smaller size and you just really want to upgrade the power for some performance reasons. Now, this is really the first Thunder Tiger helicopter that I've owned, and I can honestly say that it blows away any of the other brands that I've ever had before. This one in particular, I'll get into some of the details. First of all, it's beautiful looking. The canopy's really nice. Everything else, the tail boom, the way the rotor head looks. I mean, obviously it's Flybarless, so it looks sleek and clean, but the rotor head here is actually made out of aluminum, which is kind of a nice upgrade, and that comes straight from the factory. Pretty awesome there, nice and lightweight. I'll pull the canopy off here and I'll show you some of the features. It's got a really nice brushless outrunner to it. The way things are laid out on this, it's actually built really well. The ESC is right here underneath the little battery. There's like a flat spot right here where you put your battery, and then the ESC is right underneath it. Everything comes on this pre-wired. So all the wires are already hidden for you. Everything's already routed, it's zip tied down. There's really not a lot that you have to worry about, except for one thing which I'll get into here in a little bit. They did a great job. So I bought this as actually an ARF kit, almost ready to fly. It was very simple to finish putting together. All you have to do is slide the tail boom in. There's two little pins right here. You have to connect the belt. Now this is a belt drive tail rotor. So I connected the belt, put the two little pins in here, connected these little braces for the boom, and pretty much I was ready to fly. So really from the factory, this comes most of the way assembled. I believe I wound up putting the rotor blades on myself. The tail rotor blades already came on it. There was just a couple other minor things that I had to do, but I was flying it I think within a half an hour to an hour, so that was pretty nice. Now, like I said, everything is laid out pretty well on here. Everything has its place. It was well thought out. It was well designed. But one of the biggest things is how rigid everything is. This isn't really cheap plastic. You know, I've had other 400 size helis that have some cheaper plastic on them, and you know, after a couple crashes or something, rather than just breaking some blades, you know, the thing gets beat up pretty bad. Well, I've had some good experience with this. I've been working on some of my new 3D techniques, and I've got to crash it a couple of times, and I can honestly say it's held up really, really well. One thing that happened right away was that all three of the swash plate servos stripped out immediately. And truthfully, it wasn't even a crash that caused it. I set it down a little hard the first time, and I had a boom strike in the back, which if you've never had one of those, it can be a little nerve-wracking situation. It exploded the blades, and what happened was it just stripped out all three servos on the swash plate. The tail rotor servo was fine, but the four servos that come on this are made by Ace RC. Not that they're bad servos, they're good servos that come on it. They're digital servos, they're high speed. However, I think the gears inside of them are a little weak. I think they need to be replaced, whether you do it right from the factory or whether you wait till you have your first incident. But what I did is I actually went with Tactic servos. Now Tactic makes a super awesome servo. It's inexpensive. It's a high-speed ball bearing. It's actually a metal gear, which is really cool. Digital servo, and I want to say it was 16 bucks. I wound up buying four of them. You know, three for the swash plate, one for the tail rotor. They work awesome. I've had two accidents since then, one of which was actually a pretty bad, you know, I was trying to do some nose down and some snakes, and I bailed it and smashed it right into the ground. It tore everything up pretty bad, and the servos are fine. So I'm really excited to say that these Tactic servos are really great. In the description I'll actually get you the model number of them because I threw away the packaging quite a while ago, but I'll have to look them up and see because they're definitely worth the money. Before you go spending too much money on anything else, I definitely look into these. Now I'm a big fan of Tactic. With this helicopter, it is flybarless, but I'm flying it with a Tactic TTX 650 and I've had great success. This radio is really great. It's got good swash settings for a flybarless helicopter. I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. The switches on the transmitter are easy to get to, if I want to do a throttle cut real quick, or to switch into idle up so I can fly 3D. These two make a really great pair. I'm also using just a regular SLT receiver on here. I didn't really need anything special. The response that I get out of it is great. Even in high rates when I'm trying to fly really fast, it does really well. The servos hold up really well and they respond immediately. No problems whatsoever that I've had. So really cool. Now, one of the things that you're going to notice on this is, and if you did a little research before you buy it or you did buy it, you probably learned about this ACE-RC 3-axis gyro that's on here. Now, this gyro is really unique. It's German engineered, and the idea behind it is that it's got a touch panel on the side. So actually, let me flip my blade back here and maybe you guys can take a peek at this. This actually has a digital screen on the top, and right along the side right here, it's got a little touch panel. Think of it as like a mouse pad on a laptop. As you scroll your finger up and down that little touchpad, it scrolls through menus inside of the gyro. This is where you can change your swash settings. I mean, if you've ever messed with a flybarless gyro, you know how many settings there really are with it. This one's great. You don't have to plug it into a computer or anything. All the options are right on screen. It actually looks pretty cool when you fire up the helicopter because it looks like it has a computer screen built into it. So kind of got the aesthetic factor there, which is neat. But it'll accept any receiver, including S-Bus. It's pretty awesome. Can't say that I've ever had a bad experience with it. From the get-go, it was a little weird. From the factory, if you purchase this and when you purchase this helicopter, and at least this was my experience, the servos were reversed on the tail rotor. So what I was running into is I kept throttling up, and as soon as it would start to lift off, it would flip around real fast, 180 degrees, and the ESC would beep and the motor would shut down. I couldn't figure out why this was happening. I looked everywhere online, and then it occurred to me, hey, why don't I check my gyro? So I put the tail in front of me. This is the easiest way to do this. Flip it to the right, flip it to the left, and watch which way the pitch of the tail rotor blades go. That'll be a quick telltale sign of what's going on. My swash settings were all fine. They were all normal, no reverse servos. But if you actually take the heli, rotate it left, rotate it right, forward and backward, you'll be able to make sure that all the swash settings are correct and the servos don't need reversed on there either. So overall, it was a fairly easy setup, but one of the biggest things that you need to do is this is going to come with a book. And inside that book there's a menu on how to go through the menus on this gyro and set it up step by step. You need to save that book. If for any reason you need to get a new gyro, or this one gets reset or something like that, you need to know how to put those settings back in there, and it can be kind of complicated. Now if you're very versed in 3-axis gyros and things, you might not have too much trouble understanding, but some of the icons that they use in the menu, you're not sure exactly what they mean. Like some of the swash settings and things like that, it's tough to tell exactly what they say. So that book is like the Bible for this helicopter. You need to make sure you hang on to that. I've referred to it 3 or 4 times. Very important there. But again, beyond that, this has been a great helicopter. It's been a great flyer, as you'll see in some video I've got coming up here real quick. But I would say that I would rate this an A+ out of all of the 3D helis that I've ever flown in this class. The power is there. I'm running this on, it came within the kit, came with a 2200 milliamp hour 25C 3-cell LiPo. This is made by ACE-RC. This is a great battery. It's got nice thick cables on it, Dean's connector, good discharge rate, and then I supplemented it with a second battery. I bought the Electrofly 2200 milliamp hours. This battery works great, and I think it was like 26 bucks. What a steal. So both of them are awesome. It comes with rubber bands, gives you 2 rubber bands that actually you lay the battery right on this tray right here, and there's little lips, you just connect your rubber band around there. It does a great job of holding it on, but for me, I like to switch them out real quick, so I just took a like a bread tie, a heavy duty bread tie, tied it on here. I just slide my battery down in there. It's a nice tight fit. Plug in my Dean's connector, and then I can just hurry up and pull it out when I'm ready to change and keep right on flying. So just a little tip there that might help you out. The other thing is, from the factory it was set pretty well, but you want to make sure that you check your gear engagement down on your pinion gear here and your main gear. This is very easy to adjust. It's a simple Allen screw right here, and the motor slides back and forth. You know, just make sure that's lined up well. Other than that, just to give you my opinion, it's a great helicopter. Like I said before, the plastic on it is thicker than most. There's braces where there needs to be braces, but there's not undue material that weigh this thing down terribly. I think that it was very well engineered. It was very well thought out. It flies excellent. It flies very level. When it's trimmed up, it can be a lot of fun just to do forward flight with. And when you throttle up on this thing and you get flying 3D, it's unbelievable. It does a really great job. Now, one thing that I was struggling with when I first started was when I would do some pitch pumps, I was getting the tail rotor blown out on this a lot. All I did was go into the gyro menu, turn up the servo gain a little bit, or the gyro gain a little bit, and I haven't had any problems since. So I can really, I can start out with it all the way wound up on the ground. I can pitch it all the way up. It'll take off no problem, and it'll keep the tail boom, I would say, within 30 degrees of center. So I've had one decent accident, two major accidents with this helicopter. It has withstood every single one of them. This is the second set of landing gear I've put on here. The first time I glued it once. And other than that, I've replaced 2 sets of rotor blades. The grips have never been damaged. The rotor head's never been damaged. I've never replaced the main gear. I've never broken a piece on here. I've replaced the tail boom. The tail booms are $7 on Tower Hobbies, and you get 2 in a package. So that's a steal. You can't beat it. It takes you 3 minutes to change it out. Just feed the belt back through. I've never broken a tail rotor. I've never really broken much on here, and I've had major accidents flying this thing crazy. So in my opinion, the durability's there. You know, all the bearings are fine. It's still flying great. It's running great. And I think it's really easy to fly. I think this is a really great option for anybody who's just getting into 3D. You're starting to experiment with some inverted flight and things like that. But I'm just going to show you a little bit about how it flies, and that's really all I've got for you. So if you get a chance, please subscribe to my channel. Leave me any comments below. If you have any questions or anything, there's a lot to cover on this, but I don't want to get the video too long here. If you have any questions on the transmitter, receiver, you know, the gyro, just let me know, and I'll be glad to answer them for you guys. Thunder Tiger's been great too. You know, if you call, they'll give you some good advice, and those guys know what they're talking about. So my opinion, the king of helis. So all right, if there's anything else you need, just leave a comment. But thanks again for watching. Please subscribe. Flies really well in the wind. Got about really 10 to 20 mile an hour winds today. That 3-axis gyro keeps it right on track. Gotta fight it a little bit occasionally, but overall it's not bad. Alright, we'll idle up here and see if we can get some inverted flight. I don't want to get too crazy because of the wind, but not too bad. High rates help out a little bit with this. I run 2 idle ups. I have a about 80% and then I have a 100% throttle. This helps me out because with some of the things I do, I don't always need full throttle. So. When I shut idle up off, I just use a good mix of throttle and pitch, and it seems to fly really well. So really stable, really easy to fly, especially in the wind. You can see I didn't have too much trouble. It's a little cold out today, so I'm not going to spend too much time out here, but overall, that's the Thunder Tiger E325. Thanks for watching.